welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Joanna Ruminska and I'm a fashion and portrait photographer. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will be comparing JPEG to RAW file and basically explaining in more details why RAW file is better than JPEG and why you should start shooting in RAW. If you have seen my previous videos, you probably have noticed that I've been talking about RAW files for quite some time, and I always say it's so much better to shoot in RAW, but maybe not everyone understands why. So this is why I'm making this video, to basically explain and show you guys the difference between both files. Let's start. First thing I will do is go to my menu, go to shooting menu and change the image quality to RAW plus JPEG fine, which means that the camera, after I take one picture, the camera will save the same picture in both formats, and then later on I will show you the comparison. Since I don't have a model for this video, I will be using this old film camera. This will be our model today. I will be just taking pictures of this in the same spot. We have natural light coming through the window on this side, and that's basically all. I don't have any additional lighting. My model is ready. I won't be changing the aperture and ISO, so ISO will be left at 100. The aperture will be 1.4. So first I'm gonna take a picture that's overexposed. Then I will move to good exposure, and then I will do an underexposed picture. As you could see on the screen, I showed you the pictures straight out of the camera. Now we're gonna move into Photoshop and I will show you what you can do with these pictures. So let's move to Photoshop now. And we have Photoshop open in the background. Here is the folder with the pictures that I've taken. So JPEG, RAW, JPEG, RAW, JPEG, RAW. Now these two are overexposed. This is with good exposure and these are underexposed. So we're gonna start with overexposed JPEG, and I'm going just to quickly see what we can do here, and I am going to actually do brightness and contrast because we just want to make the picture a bit darker, right? So here it is, and as you can see, we've got now very dark corners, very blown out background, highlights here, highlights there, the highlights on the camera, and just it doesn't look good. Like you can see that the store is completely gone. Even if I bring it down, just doesn't look right. Like the whole quality is gone. And let's go slower and see if we can find something better. But as you can see, no, because the back of the store will still be blown out and the corners will stay the same. So I am not going to comment anymore on this. I'm just gonna leave you guys to judge it. So I'm going to open the same picture now in RAW and I'm going to show you how that will look like. And here we go. Before we actually enter Photoshop, because like you can see in the background we've got Photoshop and we've got this little window open, and this window is called Camera RAW, which basically will allow us to change the kind of like settings of the picture. So here on the right side we have even the settings we've taken the picture in. So ISO 100, what lens was used, what f-stop, what was the shutter speed, and now this is the most important bit that we're going to be playing with: exposure, contrast, highlight, shadow, white, blacks. And I'm going to use the exposure and I'm going to bring it down because I want my picture to be a bit darker, right? And as you can see, previously in JPEG, the right side of the store went completely, like, I don't even know what would be the word for it, but see guys the difference between this one and the previous one? Like you can actually see that this is a store, and on the previous picture the store was like kind of lost its quality. So we can even bring it down more, and like probably you have noticed that we have dark shadows in the corners here as well, and the background is more blown out, but this is called vignetta and this is caused by your lens, and we can change that. And we can change that if we scroll down a bit here and go to optics, use profile corrections, and it will remove the dark corners and then we make the picture go brighter. So you see there's no dark corners at all. We have some dark corners here, but this is the shadow from the stool. So you know, we would need to get rid of that. We would actually have to take a picture with light here on the left side. But you can see on the right side of the picture the leg is gone, so maybe we'll leave that out for now and just leave it like this. Maybe bring the exposure a bit back. We can do highlights, so it will play. As you can see, the background will change, so we can make it lighter, we can make it darker. Yeah, shadows, so it will make the camera even go darker, or we can make it brighter. What I am going to try and save this picture as much as I can, but my favorite thing is to use the optics and removing the vignetta. But if we do that in this picture, we will lose the leg. But for me, this picture is okay. I mean, what I would do, maybe just crop it here, guys, so we've got just white background, and we can maybe still play with that and save it a bit more. Okay, so the stool has changed here as well. Let's go up. We can see the corners of the stool better, and yeah, we can have a picture like this. So now you can guys see for yourselves the difference with JPEG and the difference with RAW. And this is, we're not even in Photoshop yet. We are basically outside of Photoshop. We are basically changing the settings. So if we messed up on a photo shoot, and we forgot to change settings, or whatever reason, whatever happened, we can still change that here. And then if we open the picture, we can do whatever we want in Photoshop. So we could do color grading or whatever you would like to do. I usually, when I shoot with models, of course, I usually change the settings of, like, if the picture is too dark or too bright, I change it with camera raw, and then I move on to here, and then I would basically retouch the skin, and then afterwards I would do color grading. Moving on, we have now two pictures with good exposure, so I'm just gonna open them up for you guys, but I don't think we have to play here. Like, it looks okay. I mean, you can maybe use curves and fix it up a little bit, make it a little bit brighter, but okay. So as you can see, if you have a very good exposure of the picture, then you can take pictures in JPEG. But I think, you know, sometimes you can't control, like, especially if you work outside in outdoors, you can't control the light. Sometimes the sun will come and then suddenly it will go, and then you forgot to change your settings, or while you was taking the picture, the sun just disappeared or appeared, and then obviously because you was taking a picture, you didn't change the settings, and maybe that picture was your favorite picture. So anyway, let's move on. Then we have raw picture, and this is the raw, and like I said, we don't really have to do much. I can show you the optics here. So let's do optics, use profile corrections, and it got rid of vignetta, so now the picture looks better. And now you can play with whatever you want, contrast, highlights, you know, exposure, whatever your imagination is. And once you're done with playing with this, you can open it up in the Photoshop. Now I'm just going to show you the underexposed pictures. So this is the JPEG picture, underexposed. And okay, let's see if I can bring the brightness up. Okay, I can, but not that well. So I'm going to try and do that with curves. Okay, but look guys, what I have to do, I have to literally bring the curves up so much. Okay, we managed to save it somehow, but I don't know what I'm doing here with the curves. So, you know, there is always a chance, and then maybe there's like 20% chance of you saving a picture that was taken in JPEG. But now I'm going to use the same picture that I've taken in RAW, so I'm gonna open that for you guys. Okay, and first of all, I'm gonna go to optics. The picture got a bit lighter, but still dark. So here we go. Maybe bring up the shadows a bit more exposure, and ta-da! that's it. Picture saved, and you know, you guys can play more with whatever you want. It's really whatever your preferences are, but we saved the picture and we didn't really have to do much. All we had to do is take the picture in RAW and open it with camera RAW and bring the exposure up to 2.85 and the shadows to 59. And then optics, obviously we've changed the optics, but we can also remove the optics, which will leave the dark shadows in the corners, but it's everyone's preference. Some people like to have that, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I leave it in some of my pictures. Depends what mood I'm in, basically. So, and that's it, guys. I will try and make another video like this in the future, and I'm going to use a model because it will be better, because then you can see more of the how I can use the highlights more, shadows, whites and blacks, because this picture is just, it's not really a good picture, but because I didn't have anyone to shoot with, this is the only thing I could use. So just a camera on top of a stool and white background. So it's not a great picture, but I hope it makes you guys understand the JPEG and RAW in more depth. So that is it for today's video. I hope now it makes more sense, the difference between JPEG and RAW, and I hope that more of you will go out and shoot in RAW. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. If you have any suggestions for the next video, please leave them down below in the comments. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments as well, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!